So we need to talk about round 7 of the Sinquefield Cup. Why? Because this was the day the dam finally burst. I mean, after days of frustratingly quiet chess, the chess world was treated to an absolute explosion of decisive, high-stakes games that completely, and I mean completely, reshaped the entire tournament. 10. Just 10. That's the number that was kind of haunting this whole tournament. It stands for the unprecedented, almost mind-numbing streak of 10 straight drawn games across rounds 3 to 6. You could feel the tension building, and the frustration was real, not just for the fans, but for the commentators and for sure the players too. And you can just feel the mood in this quote from the commentary, right? It's this mix of dark humor and just genuine exasperation. Everybody was desperate for a decisive result, for someone, anyone, to finally break the deadlock. To really get this, we've got to look at one player whose story basically sums up this whole tournament of draws experience. And that player is Maxime Vachier-Lagrave, or MVL as we all know him. The commentators were calling him the shadow leader of the tournament, which is a perfect name for it. It means his score on paper told a completely different story from how well he was actually playing. He was playing this brilliant, dynamic chess, but he just couldn't seem to close it out. I mean, this scale of his missed chances was just staggering. We're not talking about small advantages here. This is the guy who probably should have won 4 of his first 6 games. He was winning straight out of the opening against Alireza Firouzja. He was up a full piece against Levon Aronian. He even completely outplayed the reigning world champion, Gukesh. And yet somehow, every single one of those games ended in a draw. Exactly. And the commentator hit the nail on the head here. You can't help but feel for the guy, right? To work that hard, to create these completely winning positions against the best players in the world, and have nothing to show for it but a string of half points, it had to be just incredibly frustrating. And that was the mood heading into round 7. And that brings us to what was probably the most pivotal game of the day, a matchup with huge, huge implications, not just for this tournament, but for the entire Grand Chess Tour. Okay, so what are we looking at here? The bottom line is this. Our Praggnanandhaa, or Prag as he's known, was hanging on to that 4th and final qualifying spot for the Grand Chess Tour finals in Brazil. And his opponent, Alireza Firouzja, was right there, knocking on the door in 5th place. The winner of this game could pretty much punch their ticket, while the loser, well, they'd have a massive hill to climb. And Alireza, true to form, he did not play it safe. He's been doing this all tournament. He makes an ambitious, kind of wild choice that just throws the game into chaos. But this time, it was Prag who handled the chaos better, putting Alireza on the back foot, forced to fight for a draw under just immense pressure. So, the whole game comes down to this one critical moment. Both players are in what we call severe time trouble. We're talking clocks ticking down to the very last seconds. The tension was just off the charts. Could Alireza find that one precise path to safety? He couldn't. With just a single, solitary second left on his clock, Alireza makes his move. It wasn't the right one. He missed this incredibly difficult computer-like sequence that would have saved the game. Instead, he made a fatal mistake. A 1-second decision that decided everything. And Prag? Absolutely ruthless. He pounced on that error immediately. His calculation was just razor sharp, even with the clock screaming at him. He converted his advantage perfectly, and just a few moves later, Alireza resigned. And just like that, the first crack in that wall of draws had appeared. And it was a big one. But the drama wasn't even close to over. Let's hop over to another board, where another player finally broke his own streak of draws. And he did it in style. So you had Wesley So. He was another member of that all-draw club, sitting on 6 straight half points. And who does he have to play? Oh, just the world champion, Gukesh D. Gukesh came in with a new opening idea, but instead of playing it safe, Wesley met the challenge head-on. He chose the most ambitious, most principled response, basically signaling, I'm playing to win today. And his ambitious play totally worked. The game got sharp, it got tactical, a real fight. Gukesh had his chances, but he wasn't quite precise enough. Wesley capitalized on every little inaccuracy, built up a winning advantage, and brought home the full point, his first win of the tournament, and it was against the world champion. Not bad. So when you step back and look at it, the whole tournament really feels like a 3-act play, right? You have a normal start, then the great drought, that incredible streak of 10 straight draws. And then boom, round 7 hits. Not one, not two, but 3 decisive games that completely turned the standings upside down. The day of draws was officially over. So what does all this chaos actually mean? Well, the fallout from this one round was massive. It created a completely new reality for everyone involved. Just look at this table. The leaderboard got completely shuffled. Prag's win markets him into a tie for first place with Fabiano Caruana. Wesley's win puts him right in the mix, tied for third. And Alireza, oof, that loss sent him tumbling down the standings. A total shakeup. And this is why it all matters for the big picture, the race for Brazil. This chart really shows it all. The results from this one day created what the commentators called a pretty big gulf between those top 4 qualifiers and everybody else. Wesley So now jumps up as the closest challenger, but Alireza's chances, they took a massive, massive hit. So here's the bottom line. One chaotic, wild, decisive day of chess caused a seismic shift. The path to Brazil suddenly looks a whole lot clearer for some and, well, a whole lot harder for others. The pressure going into these last couple of rounds is just going to be immense. Which, leaves us with a big question. With the tournament totally blown wide open and just 2 rounds left to play, this fight is far from over. Who's going to claim those final spots for Brazil? Who is going to hold their nerve and seize this final opportunity? The stage is set for an absolutely thrilling finish.